wasn't that they were bad at making their own coffee, but he thought the sheriff had bought the station's coffee maker before Fletcher was born. He motioned to the chair next to his desk. Look, if you want to help with some kitten in a tree reports, I'm not gonna bitch, but don't feel like you have to do it. It's not like they're hard, just boring. Really, really boring. And time-consuming, Wade added, and without hesitation, he sat down in the chair facing Fletcher's and picked up the report on top of the pile. Sheriff Green is still trying to make me take it easy anyway. He's human. He knows how fast you heal, but it's still hard to really understand, especially with how bad it was for a while. Wade shuddered. Don't remind me. He scrubbed a hand over his half-inch of recently shorn hair and muttered, I feel ridiculous with this haircut, but so much of it fell out that I looked like an idiot before I cut it off. Fletcher smirked at him. Devin complaining? Are you kidding? He hasn't said a word about it. He's trying to avoid talking about the whole thing. I keep worrying they're not telling me everything. Like I'm still poisoned, but they don't want to tell me I'm going to die. Grabbing a black pen, Wade started to fill out the form. His handwriting was tiny and perfect, like it had come out of a printer, and he wrote in succinct sentences. Technically, he shouldn't be filling it out, since he hadn't been present at the incident, but all of the situations had been pretty routine. The only unexpected things that had happened in Rowan Harbor in the previous month were the ones involving Wade's incident and what had come after. But there had been no police reports about that. Fletcher sighed. He'd killed a man, and they hadn't filled out a police report on it. What would they say if they did, though? There was no body. White had been completely incinerated in some kind of magical sacrifice. Those records would have been accessible by outside law enforcement officials. They couldn't have even a hint of magic in them. You're thinking pretty loud over there, partner, Wade said without looking up from the form he was filling out. Again, Fletcher sighed. I seem to be doing that a lot lately, don't I? Understandable, Wade told him as he set the report on the finished pile and moved on to the next. The voice in Fletcher's head stopped talking and hissed. For a second, Fletcher thought it was because Wade had leaned toward them. Him, damn it, not them. But that didn't make sense. He'd done that before, not gotten such a reaction. Wade paused in filling out the form and took in a deep breath through his nose, mouth open as though he was scenting the air. Voices drifted to them from the front desk, the officer there sounding vaguely annoyed, though Fletcher couldn't make out the words. In the absence of understanding, he watched Wade's reaction for cues on what he should do. Not for the first time. He wished for werewolf hearing. Wade's eyes narrowed, and he froze in place, which didn't seem like a good sign. After another moment of listening in, he pushed the paper away and stood, muttering, We're on our way out for patrol. Fletcher nodded, stood, and did a quick mental check of his belt. After 3 years on the job, it was almost, but not quite, second nature. Then he pushed in his desk chair and followed after Wade. There were 3 strangers in the front room, and when they approached, even Fletcher's less sensitive nose picked up the familiar tang of silver in the air. No wonder it had put Wade on edge. He'd almost died of exposure to the stuff less than a month earlier. The fact that he'd willingly walked into a room where he could smell it made Fletcher feel inadequate. The 3 men stood spaced far apart, in stances that screamed of false calm. One of them had his jacket open, showing off a shoulder holster. No doubt he'd have the proper concealed carry permit if asked for it. Everything okay, Jen? Wade asked the officer on desk duty. She was the newest member of the local force, so she tended to get the duty no one else wanted. She was also the one who usually complained that they needed a new coffee maker, since she had to deal with it most often. Fletcher was more than willing to back her on it, but the sheriff tended to be a little slow to accept changes, even unimportant ones. She turned and looked at Wade, a pinched frown on her lips. These guys are bounty hunters.